Testing, testing. We will be live shortly. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. We will be live shortly. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. We will be live shortly. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. We will be live shortly. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Testing, testing.
Yeah, it's like 60 minutes later.
So just, yeah.
What is that? Sound good.
Oh, I'm in the show. Okay, fine, I'm in the show, but can't see no one else. I mean, put my microphone All right. I'm speaking with my microphone on. Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Can you hear me? Oh. Studio.
Anthony, can you hear us? If you can you give me a thumbs up, please?
You wanted to speak. You wanted to speak.
Yeah, but if he can't hear us, then he's not going to give me a thumbs up, is he?
But can you
I
see
can
him on
hear
the
you
screen?
now.
I can see him on the screen there, but he ain't giving me a thumbs up. Anthony, if you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up, please?
Loud and clear.
Like,
No, I can't see a thumbs up.
okay,
Yeah, that's what I
Thumbs
said.
up. I can hear you.
they can hear us testing. I can hear you testing.
Wait, test it. Oh, that was long. That was before.
Oh, that was before, yeah? Okay.
Bro, we're going to have to go. Right, we're going to have to do it.
Go back live. 2 seconds. You go back live.
Not sure what's going on.
As long as it comes through the speaker.
You know.
Because everything else is ready.
We're half hour, so it's either we do it or we're not doing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on, let's just do this. Come on, we got to just go and go. We got to go. Just do the countdown on it. Hey, we're here. We're here. Apologies. We've had a little technical. So, but welcome to Set the Trend podcast. But we had a little technical, so we just had to be sorting it out. So we're sorry. We do apologize for the delay. But these things happen. What we're doing on this occasion, which we've never done before, we're in our studio. So we're at our base today, broadcasting live from the studio and also linking up internationally. So we'll get these bugs ironed out as we go throughout the show, but please bear with us. And if you can, if you're on Facebook, welcome to our Facebookers. Can you share the link, please? And welcome to our peeps on YouTube. Welcome to you all. If you can just text or pass around the link for it so our other peeps can join. Today is a very, I would say, special day. I think it's a special day. We have someone who is a well-renowned promoter from the ends or from local Hackney, as we will say. And we're going to be talking to Sir Anthony Brightly very shortly. But before we do that, on the release of his new short film that he's got coming up, and single, should I say. But before we do that, my co-host has been sitting here waiting patiently. Mr. Eastender, how you doing, sir?
I'm good.
You
No,
good?
no slip ups today. We're live. First take. I've got to do it in one take.
Yes. But it's nice to see that people are that we're here, and hopefully everybody can hear us all right. So everything's cool. Reggie's not here with us today. What happened to him?
I've got no idea actually, and I saw the text message and bad me. I should have given him a call and just double checked to make sure he was 100% all right, but I didn't. So I'm going to make sure first thing after the show, he's going to be the first person I call just to make sure
okay.
all is well.
I'm sure knowing Reggie, all is well, but maybe he sends you this apologies because he did say that he couldn't make it in today. So I'm sorry, you've got the ugly two here today. So you've got Eastender and you've got myself here today. So what's been happening? Before we get into it with Sir Anthony Brightly.
Sir, because there's a lot of people going around with fake titles. Anthony doesn't really have that title. It's like Anthony Brightly. But I think today we're going to rubber stamp and certify and put a Sir on his name. I
thought the Sir had been rubber stamped anyway, to be honest with you, because he's one of those gentlemen's member of the community that has done so much for the community, that especially around music business, and given a platform to, we'll go through some of the names later on.
100%. But I call him Anthony, or I call him Mr. Brightly. But
I don't even know what to call him. I don't want to, because a lot of people just call him Brightly. I don't want to call him Brightly because I feel I'm being disrespectful. So I always and then I want to call him Anthony, but I feel like, when you're I feel I can't call because it's big. You hear me? Mr. Brightly. Mr. Brightly.
Name to call it.
Right. So we'll be discussing with him in a bit. What did you think of yesterday? So our wonderful non-racist prime minister.
Talking about names, you call him Boris or do you call him Doris?
Doris. Yeah. Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Lockdown. 10 o'clock. So he's moved everything till 10 o'clock. So clubs and
bars
could go on a bit later. So clubs. So let me get this right. Pubs was doing their 11 o'clock finish. Yeah. Clubs could get a license till about 1 or 2 o'clock. I think in some occasions, in some prisons that they were getting that, because I've played at a club till about 1 o'clock. So I know they were getting later licenses. Now everything's gone till 10 because apparently Corona doesn't
strike after.
Doesn't strike. No, it doesn't strike you before 10. It strikes you
after 10.
After 10. So he's locked down clubs, bars, nightlife.
Yeah.
They've
really targeted nightlife in this whole pandemic. Nightlife is the one that's, had it really, really hard.
And let's be clear on why it has been, because they're saying that the virus is more prevalent indoors than outdoors. Well, that's what the science says.
That's what the science says, and I'm not going to argue with the science because that's not my skill. There, so I'm not going to argue with the science. And I know many people argue with the science, but that's one I'm going to put my hands up and say, no, that's not.
I think many people do have their own opinion on the science, like you would. I don't think the science has been as transparent as it should be. I ain't going to go into the wheres and throws because I think there's a whole heap of, if you watch Sky News, if you watch BBC News, if you watch ITV News, you see enough graphs and everything there that you should be able to come up with your own opinion on it, and their opinion as to what data translates to. I think, though, in terms of how that's going to impact on a lot of our community in different ways. So you have the people who make their daily jobs out of it. They, they get paid in one way or another. And we're not just talking about DJs. I think sometimes when we do these shows, everybody thinks we're just talking about DJs, but there's a whole plethora of people who earn money out of the business, because music is a business.
So we're talking about the entertainment business.
The entertainment business. straight. And even when you talk about entertainment, like you could bring theatre into that, because you're talking about there's singers, there's engineers, there's technicians
Production,
that are up
camera,
and
there's roadies. There's so many. It affects so many.
right.
It affects so many, and yeah, they've had it the hardest, and unfortunately, they're saying another 6 months. I don't think it's going to be 6 months.
I've seen so much memes going around about Christmas, so
Yeah, I mean.
So
I think it's going to be 2 or 3 months.
Someone asked, "Will I be able to go church for 12 o'clock then?" Because they've seen in church every year. They've seen in the New Year's every year for 12 o'clock. Listen, for me, you just got to remain positive. You've just got to look at the positives from it, and how can I do my best to get out of this situation? Because from the minute you start being downbeat about it, you start being negative overall, overly negative. You put your energy and your vibes into that space where
becomes negative, and that becomes
it does, and it can lead to so many things from that.
Always, you've got to be positive. Always look on the bright side. Got to get up, stand up, and you got to fight. You got to fight and just look, be positive, because you got to make an opportunity.
Where do you see? So if we're talking 6 months, 5 months, where do you see the music business? You as a promoter, because you're a promoter, you do your own things. We love Weird Groove. You also have Soul Motion and you do concerts. What do you see you doing in 6 months? How can you put yourself on the right platform to take advantage of this situation?
I've taken, I said to myself, I'm taking the long game. I'm stepping back from it for now, and I'm just going to take the long game. I've been doing promotions, DJing from I was 16 years old up to now. Most weekends, 4 days a week. I think it's time for me to have a nice long break and, just look at the game. Moving, other people, I can see the only thing we can do is the brunches, the restaurants, the dinner, the music, bubbles of 6. I think that's a good thing to be doing. You can do it any time of the day, at the weekends. You definitely can finish before 10. I think the brunches is the way forward, or dinner.
The thing is, it's early raving. And I think I've had this conversation with you previously about how can you make your money by 12 o'clock and go home instead of raving till 6, 7, 8 o'clock and trying to make money.
You can do that.
In the scene we do, because, so for instance, in Los Angeles, a lot of the raving and the clubs finish at 12, 11, 12 o'clock. And then
they've got 2 p.m. curfew.
And that's right.
2 a.m. curfew.
Yeah. And it's how well could we move to that situation where our people come out early? Because that our people,
they never like coming out early, but guess what? They've got no choice now.
And in a way, it's kind of pushed them to now. I mean, if you're going to come out, you've got to come out early. I mean, you have. It's going to be quite interesting, the weekend raving. You got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then you're probably back on work, online or offline, or on furlough, or not working at all. Or looking after the kids. Well, no, you shouldn't be, because they should be going to school. So that shouldn't be happening. But it's going to be very interesting how people are going to put things together for people to come and be entertained, and people are going to come out and embrace that new early start, straight from work, straight to the event.
We used, when you was DJing, or you're still DJing, but obviously early.
I haven't retired yet.
In the earlier days, you was doing like Corks. That was like an after work jam.
It was.
So, and what time did that finish? 11?
1 to 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock.
Okay, so it can be done, and I think that's the first step that promoters, DJs, and the ravers will have to work out.
Embrace the new normal.
Embrace the new normal.
It's not a better normal yet. It's just a new normal. So that's one of the things. And also, let's debunk this Facebook live streaming. I don't know. Posts that have been going around on Facebook, off Facebook, in WhatsApp groups, out WhatsApp groups about Facebook is stopping live DJ streaming. So where
October the 1st.
So where you've seen DJs suddenly appear on your streams from their bedrooms, with their boxer shorts or their old baggy sit down beside them, and some old facade in the background. And I'm joking, of course. But
Many
where
a true
you-
word said in jest.
yeah, and where you've seen some DJs put their phones to their laptops as well. Yeah, you know, they had to embrace the new, you know, they didn't get the technical side of it up to speed. We're kind of talking about that at the minute where people have been saying there's a Facebook post going around that Facebook are stopping those live streams. So if you go on live streaming, you'll be taken, your stream will be taken down as soon as it goes up.
And your account will be blocked.
Yeah. So do you want
There's another leak that's just come out that
it wasn't a leak. You see, this is what happens when you believe anything that's sent out. And Facebook is one of the worst places for that, you know.
yes.
You can start a rumor about anything on that.
Okay.
Right?
So the second one that's come out is
Right.
not real.
The first one that come out is not real.
The first one that came out is
So
not real.
all Facebook did was update their terms and conditions, and their terms and conditions. People read it like as if they're going to take down DJ. They were specifically targeting DJ streams. They wasn't specifically targeting DJ streams. It was just an update to their terms and conditions, and somebody read it in that way. They're going to be doing the same thing that they've always done, and they're more targeting you doing the YouTube thing. So you put in a music, you playing music
Yep.
with nothing else. There's no interaction. So using music as a way to draw
Your
people
audience.
to your account. Yeah. And that's mainly what they're targeting. So they're not going to target you playing music in the background if you're at a concert or if you're at a thing and there's music in the background. They're not going to specifically target DJ streams, although they're still going to take you down because obviously if you play the track too long, then all the robots kick in and then it says that this is signed by Sony Music and you do not have the rights to play it, and they'll take it down.
So more boxer shorts in the background, more baggies in the background, more funk rubbish in the background.
Yes, shortly. Yeah, in a short word.
In a nutshell.
That is it. In a nutshell. So I hope that we've debunked that, and I hope you find that useful. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So welcome to Set the Trend podcast. It's a special today, and absolutely, it's an absolutely pleasure. There's not many people that I look for. I mean, I look forward to interviewing a lot of the legends who have grown up in the street culture, who have grown up in the club culture. But this particular gentleman has his foot in starting and making the platform for a lot of the street sounds that I hear now. Every time we interview some of the sounds that we grew up on, that that we were aspiring to be like, this gentleman's name and sound, Sir George and Anthony Brightly, always pops
Has
up.
been mentioned in 98% of our podcasts.
Always.
From about 2 years we've been doing this, and everyone mentions his name.
His name.
And rightly so, which
Right.
we're going to discover.
Right. And he's got a new short film and a new single out. And hopefully we should have him on the line if everything is going to be working to thing. I'm looking towards my technical team here. So hopefully they will be able to make him pop up on your screen all the way from lovely and sunny Antigua. And hopefully he can hear me. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, Mr. Brightly?
I could hear you loud and clear,
Okay.
mate.
Right. We're having problems hearing you at the moment.
Can we hear him?
Oh, you're not hearing me? Oh, that's not good. Why are you
All right,
not
let's see
hearing
if I
me?
can get him up on mine.
You really need to be hearing me.
No, we can hear you now.
Okay, well we've done
Magic.
we can now, but there's going to be a little delay on it.
We can work with that.
Right, so we're going to ask you some questions, but there's a little delay on our end. Okay, right. So,
Okay.
when we talk about Anthony Brightly, we talk about club owner, and let's go through some of the clubs that you've owned or that you've played or that you played a part of. So let's talk about Phoebe's. Let's talk about Oasis. If anybody went to, well, Phoebe's is the old, Phoebe's was before Oasis, and Phoebe's morphed into Oasis, which a lot of our people went to back in the day. In fact, a lot of people went to Phoebe's when you was in there. It was Sir George, one playing on some of those nights in Phoebe's. You also was the owner of Maxim's in Dalston. Then you went on to own Chimes and Pegasus. I mean, who hasn't passed or played through your clubs? I think it isn't worth mentioning those names because there's probably be 2 or 3 sounds. So the sounds that has, I mean, you've had everybody from internationally known Stone Love, Mikey B from the Dream Team, originally before he went into the Dream Team. You've had Chris Nat, Mysteries pass through your club, Touch of Class, Funkadelic, Asher World of Girl Movements, Booker T, DJ Spoonie,
The list goes on.
Bad Boys, latest edition, Studio Express, Fifth Avenue, Casual Affair, GQ, Special Touch, Super D, GNs, Metro Media, Aquarius Disco, and you also gave a platform to the Heartless Crew and Galflex to kind of get on their way. I mean, we would say that they probably would have made it anyway, but we can discuss that a bit later. But you gave them a big platform within your club and you helped promote them to help them on their way. You're also an international promoter and CEO of D-Jam Festival, which takes place in Antigua. And you're one of the founders and of the international reggae group Black Slate. Wow. Can you hear
What
me,
do you
Mr. Bradley,
say
on that
when
one?
you say
A little
when
delay
you say imitate, when you say all of that? For me, even listening to you say, it's it feels amazing to me. And you know, before I go any further, I've been asked the question, why did I want to launch this thing on this particular day, the 23rd of September? And the reason being, it's 2 reasons. One, it's the birthday of my mum, who's the first lady in my life, who's a lady who believed in my little dream. And when I asked her to buy me my organ, she said it was okay, and she helped me to do what I had to get my organ. And it's also my eldest daughter, Aishaline's birthday today as well. So to the 2 ladies in my life, it's their birthday today. One's gone, but one's living on and working with me. So happy birthday to my daughter, Aishaline, and big birthday to my mummy, big time. And really, without my mum believing in me, and then my dad following suit, all what you're saying would not have happened. And that starts why we're where we are. Somebody has to believe in somebody to be able to make something start. And when people come and ask, can I play in your club? Or can I play with your sound? Or can I? I wanted to play with somebody before, so it's automatically, because you might be the top #1 sound, yes, I might turn around and say, well, you can't play with me because you can't play good enough. But once you are of that standard and you can play good enough, then boom, you will get the opportunity. Same with the clubs. I would say to them, well, yeah, of course I'll give you a chance. But you have to work for that chance. Just like when I went to Cubies, you talk about Phoebe's, you talk about Cubies, you talk about Oasis. I went to Cubies and I said to the owner, your club's not working, you need me to play in there and I'll make it work. He thought I had some front. 6 months later, he called me. The rest is history. So somebody has to believe in someone to make something happen. And, you know what I mean? I might have helped along the way, but all of these guys you've spoke about, every single one of those DJs are DJs in their own right, and they are a class amongst themselves. You know what I mean? I might have helped along the way, but all of these guys you've spoke about, every single one of those DJs are DJs in their own right, and they are a class amongst themselves. Mr. Brightly, now you've gone on and
you've now gone on to make this film, this short film that we're going to go into shortly, because we want to let the people see the short film, and I'm going to ask you to introduce it shortly when I stop speaking. Just give us a short introduction into why you made this short film, and what do you think that you'll be getting, that we're going to get out of it as the public. So what do you want to get over to it, and then just introduce your short film, and then we'll play it, and we'll speak to you in another 15 minutes after it's finished.
All right. So first of all, I always wanted to make a movie. Everyone wants to be on the big screen, and but I didn't know how that was going to happen. So I've had a script sitting down for years, wanting to make a movie and trying to find someone to make a movie with, and it was just so far in a way that it was almost like impossible. And then I watched the story of Nina Simone, and when after watching that story, I was inspired to redo as a single for Black Slate. We decided to do Young Gifted and got the song Young Gifted and Black, but we wanted to make it special, so we wanted to travel around the world and do it with many different people, and more than just having it as a music video, I said it would be nice if we could turn it into a short movie and just listen to what other young people have to say about just life and trying to move from one point to another. And when we was traveling, we went to Australia. We got the horns from a group called Blackbird Hum in Australia. I asked the Antigua Youth Choir, the National Antigua, the National Choir, the National Youth Choir of Antigua and Barbuda. I saw them perform in England, and I said, wow, how nice it would be to put reggae music behind that. And I asked a lot of people, but it's like with everything, you can ask, doesn't mean you're going to get. So a group of people worked with us, and we created the reggae version of Young Gifted and Black. And then I went to a short movie festival, and I met this young man was going around taking photographs of everyone, and he looked at me and said, I think I need to take a picture of you. And I stood up with my show off self and said, yeah, you're right. And we got talking, only for me to realize that the man I was talking to was the man who was partially responsible for this film festival. And boom, that was my introduction to saying, I want to make a movie. And it just so happened that he also watched the Nina Simone story, and he said it would be an absolute pleasure. And I did my bit, but this young man, and he's a young man, is really the man who's responsible for this movie, Daniel. So let's watch Young, Gifted and Black, the short movie.
We're out of it now, right? Yeah, but we're out of it, yeah? But you can't see us now.
Are we muted?
We're not in it now.
Can hear you though.
As black people, it is that we've got unison. The best example of that is culture, food, music. So, in my opinion, to be young, gifted, and black is to be able to appreciate what came before you and utilize that to make yourself better.
To be young, gifted, and black. Oh, what a lovely, precious dream. To be young, gifted, and black. Open your hearts to what I mean.
The song Young, Gifted and Black, written by Nina Simone, has been adapted by Aretha Franklin, Bob Andy, Marcia Griffiths, and now Black Slate is going to record it. Young, Gifted and Black, written by Nina Simone, while she was inspired by talent that she saw in black people. And I believe that the song was written to encourage, to let you know that you are one of many with a talent. You are one of many that are gifted.
Able to receive some sort of guidance from somebody who believes in you, not from what they see in the physical world, because a lot of the time people who teach us are only teaching us what's been done already, like what's been seen already, and the teacher had to do it again. But to really be gifted means that you're doing it from the inside out, you know? You're inspiring someone from the inside out, or you're even feeling inspired yourself.
All we do as young people is laugh, cuss, gossip. Laugh, cuss, gossip. When have you lot ever rise above that and said, you know what? Actually, I'm going to help this individual because I can see what road they're going down. Me. Fantastic. Give me a high five. I have done. Well done. Well done. I have. I like helping young people to find their passions and to help them to overcome any emotional challenges, because lots of young people experience trauma in their life. And sometimes they just don't have that emotional support at home or at school. And lots of kids are misunderstood. And I was one of those kids at school. So I can really relate to young people that are just misunderstood or as like palmed as a naughty kid rather than an intelligent kid that just needs to be engaged with in a different way.
I had a youth worker when I was growing up. And it wasn't nothing like she had to do like loads of one-to-one work with me. It was just her presence and her like saying little things like, oh, Hera, what do you want to do when you're older? And I'll be like, I don't know. No one ever asks me that. And this little bit she'll say to me that made me, I think, go to uni, made me think that I can be more than just a girl from the estate. So, yeah.
The thing that we have as black people is that we've got unison. The best example of that is culture, food, music. So, in my opinion, to be young, gifted, and black is to be able to appreciate what came before you and utilize that to make yourself better.
Yeah, to be young, gifted, and black. Oh, what a lovely, precious dream. To be young, gifted, and black. Open your heart to what I mean. Yeah, in this world, you know, there are a million boys and girls who are young and gifted, young, gifted, and black. And that's a fact. Yeah. Young, gifted, and black. We must begin to tell our young the world waiting for you. This is a quest that's just begun. Yeah, when you feel really low, it is a great truth that you should know. When you're young and gifted, young, gifted and black, your soul's intact. Yeah, young, gifted and black. How I long to tell the truth. There are times when I look back and I am haunted by my youth. Oh yeah, oh but my joy today is that we can all be proud to say, to be young and gifted, young, gifted and black. To be young and gifted, young, gifted and black. Let's do it side. Let's do it side. Oh yeah, it's where it's at. It's where it's at. It's where it's at. Oh yeah, yeah. It's where it's at. 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 It's where it's at.
Young black people, once again, using social media, are always got this motive of money is the motive, but they don't really have a plan, so it's a bit reckless. You could see something on social media and motivate yourself to, and you might just look at the materials and say, I want to get the materials, and that's where recklessness comes in. Or you can see something on social media and aspire to be like a celebrity who had a plan. Does that make sense? And I think the most important thing is the plan.
You're looking at other people, you're not watching your own journey, your own self, what you got. So I think it's hitting me. Social media is helpful, but then it's a flaw, man.
It kind of made like false hope, expectation, a lot of that, man.
And it's just like, if you said it earlier, it's literally because you got to work harder than the white man. And it's like you're willing to put in that work and that fight. And you might put that work and that fight in and not get it anyway. Who's willing to stick around and put in that work?
Young, middle age, or old. Now, the fact that it's young, gifted, and black, it means you have an early start in life to pick up the rein and run with it. You're going to find a lot of negative thoughts come towards you because you weren't supposed to realize that you're gifted. And it might even come from your peers, you know? So it comes from a cross-section of the people. So you have to recognize the talent you have, whether it be a songwriter or a dancer, right across the board. You're here for a reason, and that gift you have, you must portray and extend it to others so they can also benefit, just like how we can look back on that song Young Gifted and Black and relate to that many years after. And that's to me the most important thing with the idea of Young Gifted and Black.
Yeah. To be young, gifted and black is not just something that's gonna happen overnight. It's a lot of things you have to endure. So I say, and you can't give up. As long as you keep that fire burning, keep that dream going. You see me? And knowing that one day you might have to turn around and mentor a youth who was young like you and bring him through and encourage him. You see me I say, cause each one teach one. Today me have the button, tomorrow you have the button. It's like a relay thing, yeah, where, you know what I mean? So everyone have to teach one and pass on the experience, whether it be a drummer, a bass player, or singer. Just stick to your goal and never be afraid to listen to whether a elder or a younger person give advice. You see me? So yeah.
Yeah, I see Young, Gifted and Black like, I don't know, like a mantra or something. For me, it's almost, it's like a feeling and a vibe, really, like, of an everyday thing to kind of remember that. Even though, you know, you have your good times, and you shouldn't really forget your roots, you know, and that's what, to me, Young, Gifted and Black is about, like the root of things, like, you know, when you're young, you know, that's, to me, that in itself is like, you being born is like a great thing. You know, we've been through a lot of oppression and things that's held us back, and it's like a daily thing to just remember.
Yeah.
You're young, you know, you're
Gifted and Black. I remember say talent is a discipline. You see me I say?
Yeah.
You have to have the discipline. No matter what it is, the discipline have to be there.
Yeah.
And you have to respect what you're doing.
Finding space. Yeah? Finding space. How many options should there be?
I just think that, you know what, there's got to be some form of belief in our culture. Yeah, there's got to be more people doing positive things. I believe that my gift has empowered young Black gifted people to go on to sign contracts. Yeah? And then I would like to think that one day they'll build a legacy. So I believe that if you're young and you're Black, you're definitely gifted.
This song, this movie, is to encourage each and every single one of you. With your talent, makes you different, makes you special. Not everyone's going to understand who you are or what you're doing. And with most things that are original, it's not until it happens that people understand. But until that point, it's an uphill struggle. But if you believe, the struggle won't be in vain.
Welcome back. Well, you're with Set the Trend podcast. And Sir Anthony Brightly's Young, Gifted and Black 15-minute short feature. I'm going to get round to the producer in a minute and ask him what's the technical word for calling that. We've got a bit of feedback. try and sort that out now. There somewhere. Have we sorted it out?
No.
Yes? We're there. We're there. Gremlins today, boy.
It's the live experience.
Although we don't really need to hear that. You could turn that down, to be fair.
Mute.
What is it? Ooh, a bit technical. We'll try and get, sorry about this, apologies, just got a bit technical here, so we're just going to try and sort it out and see what that feedback is.
Do you want a live edition of me singing Young, Gifted and Black while we're waiting?
Well, you're definitely back.
Yo, definitely. And Young, Gifted.
No. I don't know about those two. Old and gifted. I'm black. Old and gifted and black. We do apologize for that. Right, so we've been allowed to share this moment with Sir Anthony Brightly over there in Antigua. I'm going to come back to him, but first we have the other main man behind the film who put it all together and made that happen. Saw the vision and made that happening. As Anthony Brightly alluded to him earlier, he's a young chap. Gifted.
And
black. And he fills all the criteria there, doesn't he?
Yep.
He did. And we're going to have a talk with him now. Welcome to Daniel. Glenn Barber, how are you, sir?
Nice to meet you, sir. You're right. Yeah.
Welcome to Set the Trend podcast.
Thank you for having us, man. Thank you for having me. Yes.
So when we look at your production, because it is still your production, how did Anthony clarify the vision for it? Because it's a very aspirational piece. So as a producer, you've got to take someone's vision and make that into reality. So how did that process go when you first heard, when Anthony first said that he wanted you to do a 50? Was it always going to be a 15-minute short film?
We went back and forth a little bit just on, I suppose, what I felt was enough time to get through to the young people. You know, we live in a world where everyone wants something in 30 seconds. So I had to look at, you know, what was enough for them. But that being said, we got to a nice 15 minutes where we saw, you know what, each person speaking, keep it a nice 1 minute, and at the same time put the video in the middle, you know, so people can take in the beauty of, you know, what Anthony's done with the group.
Did you storyboard it? So when you was coming up with the stories behind it, did you put it together as in how you wanted it to be? So did he actually give you a script, or did you talk it through with him?
No, obviously, yeah. You have to. You know, even when you want to try and wing it. I mean, I studied film, so they drill that into your head, storyboarding, planning first, everything. So we had a lot of international calls where we had to be on the same page about how I'm going to start it. And obviously, where he's in Antigua and I'm in the UK, a lot of the interviews had to be done in that way. You know, over here, you know, but he did say if I wanted to come over, he would fly me over
on his private jet.
I should have took him up on that.
Do you know about his private jet?
But hold on, but you was there in the beginning, wasn't you?
Yeah,
because that's where he met you, right?
Yeah, I created something called the Wadadley Short Film Festival with my partner at the time, business partner at the time, Dean Foster. So on the first day, that's where I met Anthony. He was a guest at the event, and I didn't know him. I mean, I didn't know. It's weird.
Did you know anyone at that event, or was you just touting your work, or was your skills?
I mean, yeah. I'm saying my team, you know, family come out there, and but no, Antigua. I had been to Antigua. That was my second year. I've got family in Antigua, but I don't really know people like that in Antigua, you know. So being there, I was open to just meeting people. You know what I mean?
So it initially was a networking opportunity to look at business, creating business links.
You know what? I ain't even gonna act like I'm gonna lie. You know, when you're dealing with an event, it's stressful, super stressful. And because I was dealing with all the media side, the editing and stuff like that, it got to me that day.
Okay.
That day, the first day of the launch got to me. And You know,
How long was the event for? Was it a 3-day event?
It was a
4-day?
3-day event, but we had been working on it for about a year.
Oh,
and you know, I wanted to quit several times. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to quit several times. But I'm not a quitter. And as weird as it sounds, although everything was great in that event, the shining light now in 2020 was meeting Anthony Brightly. You know, I met him at a time where, not even at a time, that day I was stressing. I was not happy. I wanted to go home. I wanted to go to the UK. I wanted to come home. And I met him, and he just, you don't know him before me. He just has a way of I went home feeling like I could do anything.
Yeah, he's very inspirational.
He's very inspirational. And he said to me, he goes, "I've been looking for you." And I'm like, what have I done? What happened? Where do I know what's going from? And he's like, because he had just come out of my event, you know, the screening that we had did. And as I said, I don't go into my events. So as in when everyone was watching the screening, I don't go into the premiere. So everyone came out and everyone just wanted to meet who put this, you know, the media side together. And
in terms of what was going on at the day, was it just a collection of stuff that you'd done, or other people had done it and you put
the
together?
event
How
was
was it?
obviously the event was put together, and we was at a very nice hotel called Carlisle Bay, which is one of the best hotels on the island. Amazing. And we used their own cinema room, so it was amazing.
And
but
that
yeah,
was just a
obviously it was
collection of your own work that was showcased.
No, sorry. So as a festival, we were taking in submissions. So it was none of my work. It was none of my work. We actually were the platform for other filmmakers.
A bit like the Cannes Film
Just
Festival.
like, just like any other festival. And I'm telling anyone who wants to do something like this, is not as hard as you think. As long as you do it and you work hard at it, it's not difficult, you know.
As a young guy, what made you want to pick up the camera?
Pick up the camera?
Yeah.
I started off as a rapper first, as most of us do. And I couldn't afford music videos. It was too much money at the time. I never forget. I don't know if it was I think it was called Greasy TV. It was one of my first videos I did. And they charged me like £80 for this video. And I had no money at the time. And I don't know why I thought when this video's out, I'm popping, I'm gonna be sick. And I realized 60 views. I was thinking, I ain't paying another 80 quid for this. Like, if it's not boosting me up to that level, so I thought, I'm picking up a camera, I'll do it myself. Do you know what I mean? And I think, to be honest, no, I'm lying, I was in Ayanapa, and I've got a friend called Mr. M, who had a song back in 2010 called Dash Down. And I was supporting him when he was going around in Ayanapa and all over the UK, won extra charts and all of that. And I was scared to perform. I'd always rapped with my friends in the block and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the street rapping and that. And he was like, "Oh, you got to perform. You know, everyone's just looking at you. They don't know you. They knew his song. I opened for him, but they didn't know." And I remember I picked up the camera, and even though M is my guy, he said, "I put the camera down. What are you doing? Like, you're a rapper. What are you doing? Like, you're performing. You're an eye and apple. Why are you picking up a camera?" And I just stuck with the camera, and 10 years later,
and that was your gift.
I'm sitting there, Anthony Brightly, and you know what I mean, set the trend, and no mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Like, no regrets. So we are where we are.
So when we talk about what did you get from, I mean, you put that together. What did you get from that as the producer? Yes, from Young, Gifted, and Black.
Do you know what it was? I had watched the Nina Simone documentary on Netflix before Anthony had told me he wanted to do Young, Gifted, and Black.
Okay, so you
so
connected straight away.
So as soon as I clocked, I'm like, I'm all thinking, how did you even get the rights to this song? Do you know what I mean? Like, Nina Simone's is a legend. You get what I mean? So I'm thinking, how am I this close to her legacy like that when so many people covered it? So yeah, it kind of hit me, but I was like, you know what, I'm stepping into this. This is my time. Like, I'm gonna be a part of that. And I think I was very much trying to push the mentality that I need to look after my people, you know, the young people. I started 2019 was that year for me when I was like, you know what, I used to introduce myself to people and say, I'm gonna win an Oscar, because I studied film, you know, and I wanted to move away from music videos, and I wanted to be more creative. And I used to actually introduce myself, I'm gonna win an Oscar in 5 years. It's gonna happen.
And you still believe that now, right?
I mean, if it happens, it happens.
No,
but
you
I
still
realize
believe that now.
See, but this is the thing.
No, you still believe that
No,
now.
see, but then don't get me wrong.
No, I'm getting you right.
I mean, in the sense
I'm just
that
making sure that you still believe in your dream.
I don't need an Oscar to be great in my field, and God forbid if I leave this earth tomorrow, I'll feel I've done. I will do enough to influence the young people that come from where we come from, that you can do anything. I did a festival last year. Now I'm doing a feature film this year. Just worked with Anthony Brightly. You lot told me how much of a legend he was listening to this. I'm listening to certain clubs like I'm like, well, I didn't even know about all of that. Like when I found out Heartless Crew and all of that, and you guys under him, I'm like, I'm looking, you lot are legends to me. So to meet him and he be that person to you, I'm in like how did God do this? Do you know what I mean? Like not chasing social media followings and stuff like that, just working on my craft, and greatness came to me.
Apart from Anthony as an elder, did other elders give you encouragement to follow your dreams?
Obviously, my family, like they, our family tell us we're great all the time. We don't listen. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, that they were always some of my aunts, my mom, all of them always did that for me. But in the film world, to be fair, one of my main mentors is a guy called Enrico Tassian, and he's always believed that I can do greatness. From he was my tutor. And it's weird because someone said to me, when you leave university, your tutors don't really stay close to you like that. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely believe he saw something in me, and he still does. And he's executive producer on the new film I'm going to be doing with Anthony and some other people as well. So yeah, it's going to be big.
Do you know one of the things that I get from you hearing you talk? Legacy is very important to you.
Yeah.
Leaving something because the way the world is now, you can be forgotten in a minute.
Yeah,
if you don't document what you do, if you don't put down what you do, people just forget about you, and then they write their own story to something that you've done. Have you found it that way in the world, that we as a people, as a race, have to continue documenting what we're doing and what we've done so far?
Do you know what I had to do? I had to remove money being something that I need to chase. I had to remove that from my head because I realized it's never ending, and material things come with that. I remember being 20 trying to get a license to drive. I mean, I was obsessed with driving. So no one could ever tell me to get out of their car.
Bitch.
And I got it. I remember getting it, and I remember sitting in my car when I got it, putting up the windows, blaring the music, just it's my whip. And then the parking tickets started coming, and they started clamping my car. And then and then I started going places that I wouldn't necessarily need to go just because I had the car.
Yeah.
And then I realized this money don't make me happy. I got to a stage where I got a lot of money and it did not make me happy. Now, it might make some people happy, and that's each to their own. I'm not like, money does a lot of things for us. Don't get it twisted. But I knew it did not give me the happiness I was looking for in my life. And I realized seeing people be influenced by positive messaging and encouragement, especially the young people. I got little cousins and little brothers and sisters. This is what I do it for. I've got my sisters and my mum on my wallpaper, so I never forget. I listen to someone called Eric Thomas from America. He calls himself the hip hop preacher. I listen to him every day. And, he tells you, work hard at what you do. Talent only takes you so far if you're not working hard. Do you get what I'm saying? And with that being said, as I said, greatness came to me. It's not finished. I'm still only 31 years old. Do you get what I'm saying? But I'm telling you now for free, I've spoke to enough people in my life that they know my message. They know what I'm saying. They know what I'm saying. If I can't say it, they could speak for me, and they know my message. And that's enough for me.
Your up and coming film that you're working on.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it, or is it?
No, of course. I mean, we didn't get industry support like that. It makes sense. COVID hit anyway. But one thing about the industry is, if you're waiting for funding and stuff like that, you can potentially get it, but there's so many people running after it. You know,
Yes.
so we self-made that. You know, we did that for Deuce Films. That's my thing, and it's basically about an individual called Daryl who spends his time trying to be around his social group all the time, but of course, like all of us, miss the fact that building a foundation for yourself is actually the most important thing.
100%.
But being in lower class society, the hood, aka the hood, he tries to use aggression to seek that approval and that respect, and he ignores the people around him that let him know that being assertive sometimes is the best way to go when you're a passive individual. But the key thing is building a foundation for yourself. That's what I want to show the youths. Do you know what I'm saying? And we hit topics like parenthood, sexuality, mental health. All of these films are in the film, and yeah, as I said, Anthony Brightly is an executive producer on that.
Okay, so what also comes to my mind hearing you talk so eloquently about the struggle is you yourself being an independent film producer. It must be a struggle at times. How can, if someone wanted to invest in you or get in touch with you, or what do you need? Take this as as a platform where you can advertise your work and say, well, this, if someone's interested out there and they want to be part of what I'm doing and part of the journey and want to invest in what I'm doing or invest in you directly, what do you need to kind of push you on?
Do you know what's mad? The easy thing that most people would say is money. And it's not that. I substituted money for hard work. So I'll spend 10 hours in my room editing, planning, storyboarding, and I made that my love. Do you get what I'm saying? So it ain't hard. We're at the stage now where we've shot 95% of the film, shot in 6K. Do you get what I'm saying? Black Magic camera. Right now we're at distribution stage. That's one thing I can't. Hard work is one thing, but one thing I can't is the marketing side. That's something that there's certain things you can't, you can't fight against. So right now it's distribution. It'll be distribution. Right now we're trying to get the film in independent cinemas, stuff like that.
And how hard is that?
Well, we just finished filming, so I'm bringing in people that are good at what they do in terms of marketing. I'm still looking for new people to come in and help us with that in terms of distribution. It's just about the time. It's just about the time. If you take away 8 hours a day working, 8 hours a day sleeping, you're less than 56 hours in your week. You know what I'm saying? What do you do with your week?
And if people see you as an inspiration and they want to get in contact with you,
okay, yeah,
how can they get into? Because I remember the last show that we did, we had Nicky Slinting on one of our shows.
Okay.
So
I used to listen to his music.
And now, so he's one of the producers with Femi from Intent 1 and Intent 2 that got released in the studio. Yeah. And I had people contacting me asking if I could get them in contact with Nicky, just to maybe have some work experience, to be part of the planning. They've got something to offer, because the experience is also a big issue, that if you don't have the experience, that's another way they don't let you through the door. Is that something that you're about to?
Man, I mean, I don't ever feel like I started gifted. I remember being in a rap back in the day, and I weren't the person with the best flow. Back in the day, was the person with the best flow. I wasn't that guy, and all of them are talented people, but I'm the only one left because I didn't stop. Do you know what I'm saying? I give anyone an opportunity. Don't get me wrong, you can't edit my film if you don't know how to edit. But I want to give you the same. Try it, don't adapt it. I'll tell you how to make it better. I'll always give you the same, because I don't want people underneath me to work and me. I want creators to that.
Can you say that again? Can you say that again, please? Because I think it's not understood enough in our community how much it is. It's not understood enough in our community how much it is to have that again. Say that again, please.
I don't want anyone working for me. I want to create this. I want to demand their own dimension. I'm saying that one of my friends, demand their own lot of young footage in this feature film, but I want to build him up. That's just an example. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not looking to be a for these films. No, we collab with Black Slate, and that's what I want for everyone and all the youth.
Right, so saying that, I think we've come to the end of that bit here.
I want to do more. It's quite uplifting and
he is
and inspirational.
We're gonna have to get you back when your film's released. Are you gonna come back on Set the Trend? Are we gonna? Yeah. So if people want to get in contact with you, what's the best way of them getting in contact with you?
4 Deuce Films at gmail.com. The Instagram is yesman4d. That's the hashtag that we're pushing for this film. So any details, anything you want to know about the film coming. Obviously, it's early days because we've just finished filming, and this is where the marketing starts. But yesman4d.
Before it reaches the screen, right? How long do you reckon? 6 months, 7 months, a
Yeah,
year?
I mean, we're looking at a premiere in February. Genesis Cinema in February, and we're looking at a couple other independent cinema places. But yeah, that's the plan.
That's
you
the
know,
plan.
to be honest, social media will be the last place it ends up.
Okay.
So we're trying to
Again,
do
big
it hard.
screen.
We're trying to do it hard. Yeah, we're trying to do it hard. Maybe on an Amazon Prime thing or something like that. Yeah, for streaming and that. Yeah.
All right, Daniel.
Excellent.
Thanks
Young,
for coming on Set the Trend.
Gifted and Black.
Yeah, young. That's the thing. Young, Gifted, and Black. That, you know, again, Anthony's my executive producer, one of the executive producers on my feature. So it all ties in, and I wouldn't, you know, get there if it weren't for him like that. So respect, man. And
Good.
thank you for having me on there, man.
No, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on. Right. So,
wow.
Really? Are we gonna go there? I was talking to my executive producers over there, and I think we still got problems with the line to Antigua, so we're gonna have to get Anthony back at another time to give us some more information about from his perspective about Young, Gifted, and Black. But we've had Daniel here, and I think he's eloquently told us about the production and what's it about. So thank you for coming in. In that film, also the lead singer, just you didn't know, is Anthony Brightly's son. So his son has taken
the mantle.
He's taken up the mantle and he's working with Black Slate. So and he's the lead
they're
singer.
very good. We did a show with them at the Jazz Cafe in August, and yeah, full of energy. The songs, the hit songs, popular songs, the Migos, Sticks Man. You know, the catalog is good, and yeah, Black Slate. If you ever get an opportunity to see them perform,
And of course, we didn't mention he had a top of the pops, top 10 hit with Amigo.
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 So, thank you for being part of Set the Trend Pod. Thank you for bearing with us through all the bugs and gremlins. It's the first time that we've gone live from the studio. We intend to do some more specials where we're live in the studio. It's the first time we've also had an international bit to the show where we've had someone from somewhere else who's just coming. So it's just been a bit technical today, but we'll get it perfect on the next show, guaranteed. So thanks for joining us on Set the Trend podcast, Stephen. East, you can say bye.
Thank you. I want to do Set the Trend live every week, though.
You do, yeah?
Yeah. I think
you have to have a word with the producers, man.
With the producers.
Yeah.
Rap.
Rap. That's all.
All good. All good. Thank you, and thank you, Daniel. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
So like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's all Set the Trend podcast, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, or we're on Twitter. So you can subscribe to us and share the love on that. Thank you for being part of this special, our live special, our internationally live special even. We'll see you on the next Set the Trend podcast.